Alright, welcome back. In this final melody video, we're going to look at using passing and auxiliary notes to enhance your melody. We're basically going to use notes which are not within the chord and not the seventh of the chord to add a little bit of extra flavor, but we're going to use it sparingly, and the reason why we do that is if we use too many passing notes and auxiliary notes, then it wouldn't be clear of the harmony that we're trying to outline, and then it makes it sound like the melody should go with different chords. So we're going to create a melody, and I'm going to go through where I'm using passing notes and where I'm using auxiliary notes to make up the melody and make it a little bit more interesting. I'm not going to use as much of the syncopated melody here, but if you wanted to in your example, then you would be more than welcome to. Remember, you can also play around with these rhythm patterns, which is on this chord progressions used on EDM as kind of inspiration to help you. Alright, so here we go. We're going to start on chord tones because we want to outline the chord on the strong beat. That's quite important that we basically build where the music sits in the harmony and then stray away from it after that point. So here we go. I'm staying with 16th notes just so everyone's tracking, so it's easier for me to choose more rhythm options. Okay. Whoops. And I go down here to the 7th. This is all still what we've done already, and then we're about to go into the bit more experimental. So here we go. We've got C, D, and then up to the E flat that we have already. So this D is a passing note because it passes in between the C and the E flat, which are within the chord. Because these are chord notes, and this is going between them, it is passing between them, hence why it's called a passing note. And it's slightly different to what an auxiliary note is, which we'll go through in a moment. I'll just finish this bar, and then you'll work out how it all works. Okay. By the way, I'm using disco viola. I hope everyone approves of that style. Here we have our G, and then we're going down to the E flat. I'm not sure whether I would use disco viola in my song, but if it worked with the other sounds that you had, then go nuts. Alright, here we go. Remember, we're listening for this D because that's a passing note. The other ones are all within the chord of some description. Alright, I'll play that one again for you so you can hear it again. Alrighty, so that's our spicy note, and that's the one that gives us that extra flavor. Alright, so continuing on the last two bars, excuse me, and we're going to keep our melody going. So, we're going to go F, A flat, hold the A flat a bit longer, go back to the F. Remember, you can, if you feel confident in playing an instrument, whoops, that's a B flat, I wanted to see. If you're confident in playing the instrument, then you would be able to use a MIDI keyboard to do this kind of melody. If you play another instrument, you are able to actually record in Soundtrap, and we'll go through that in a later video. So here we go. This is all stock standard so far, and then in the last bar we're going to use an auxiliary note to add a bit of extra spice. Here we go. So we go B flat and then we go up to C. C is not part of the B flat chord, but it is part of the scale. By the way, it's important to use notes only of the scale, so if you're not sure, feel free to sing out, ask, do your research, find out what notes go in what scales, so that you're able to pick effectively to make sure it doesn't sound terrible. Like if I played that note for example, it would sound horrible. I'll give you an example of that in just a moment. So, and then back down to the F. Here's the F. Alright, so the bad one, totally outside of the key center. If we go here, it's still within the scale, and so it will still work. So the difference, so it doesn't sound anywhere near as bad. Okay, to finish off, we're going to make that F longer. We're going to play it again, and then we're going to finish with a quaver rhythm, and we're going to resolve, which means we go all the way back down to the root note of the chord. So here we go. So our spicy notes, this one here is an auxiliary note. It goes between two of the same note, and it's a note from the scale, and then this note, a note from the scale, passing between chord notes, hence a passing note, and there are a couple of sevenths over here and over here. Here we go. I'll loop it. Alright, so now that you've done all those types of melodies, you've learned the 4 different ways that you can create a melody on Soundtrap. Make sure you're using the chord tones to build your melody, and add these other 7th notes and passing and auxiliary notes as complements, not the entire melody. Give that a go, and then you'll be starting to think about your own melody ideas.